Somebody's on there. Good afternoon, all. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to share my story. While I was waiting, and this is the first time, my name is Roy and my surname is Kapp, as Ruan said. So I've got two options. I can tell the story of my life as it were, or I can do Roy Kappi, which is the shorter version of another kind. But I'll stick to the one I really know. The story goes, it doesn't start in the beginning of life. It started seven years ago when I was involved in a cycling accident with another friend that left me paralyzed from the neck down. So in December 2012, that weekend, it was a Saturday, that I went cycling with Frikkie, the friend of mine, and Jan, a colleague of mine. And we completed, and I went home, and Leona and I went shopping. And that afternoon, I got this call again from Frik, and I knew what it was all about. It was going to be, come on, let's go and cycle tomorrow. I thought, I just had this thing in me, don't answer, just ignore him. But I said, well, some more fitness, how bad can it be? So I answered the phone, and he invited me to join him on a Sunday cycle, early morning on a Sunday cycle. And I told that to Leona, and the next morning, the Sunday morning early, we were going out. I was going to meet him at about 6 o'clock. Got dressed, and as I was about to leave the house, Leona said, bye, but be safe. And again, she never said that. It made me uncomfortable. I was sort of stopped in my tracks and said, what? She says, no, just be safe. And again, this uneasy feeling was upon me. But anyway, just shrugged it off, got into a car and met Frikkie at the Cradle of Humankind. This is in the West End where we cycle. And the route is a circular route that everybody cycles, so you can do it either the left side or the right side. And and every now and again you just sort of alternate the one side to the other. And we were sitting, and I was putting on my cycling shoes, and Frikkie said, what shall we do? Shall we go left or right? I said, well, we went left yesterday, let's go right. Again, something just said, but just go left. And again, I shrugged it. I just ignored what I was hearing. And off we went. And about half an hour later, the accident happened. A car ran into us from behind, and I broke my neck. And afterwards, when I woke up and later on, I realized that this wasn't God's idea of what was about to happen. But nevertheless, through the voice of the Spirit, as I learned from then, He spoke to me 3 times, and that small uneasy feelings, or your wife's name, saying be safe, and just that small thing, but a powerful thing that you feel or hear and ignored. And because of that, an accident happened that wasn't supposed to happen. And that Spirit voice, and we've heard it this afternoon, the power of the Holy Spirit, and how we can interact and do interact with us and talk to us in different ways. It's not necessarily an audible thing. It can be an uneasy feeling. It can be a wife that says, just be careful, or just something that reminds you, just go left, don't go right. And 3 times. It also resonates in the Word. Many times you get 3 warnings and then there's a strike. But again, that spirit voice, how powerful it is, and never to be ignored. Because Leon and I have had this discussion so many times afterwards, is what is the cost of disobedience to the voice of the Spirit? And it's not in a negative way that one wants to view this, but in my life, it ended in an accident because of not listening or not following that small spirit voice. And sometimes we won't even know what the consequences by ignoring, pray for someone, or do this or do that. And you wouldn't know what the consequence of it is, because it was for someone else. And it's just so powerful to remember to listen to the spirit voice in you and to be obedient to it immediately. Because once the moment is past, there is a cost. We might not know it. We'll find out when we get into heaven what that cost was. But it's a powerful intercession that you could have had, a prayer that you could have made, an accident that you could have avoided. Who knows? It's just one of those things that I've resolved is to listen to that voice and to be obedient to it. All right, 7 years later, I still struggle to be obedient to it every time I hear it. But the lesson is always listen, be obedient. The results is spectacular if you do it, because there's always also a consequence of obedience. There's revelation. There's people that will come to the Lord. Who knows? But it all depends on you listening and following what the direction is from the Spirit to just be that obedience. So now, to put this one into bed is the Spirit voice. This is the one thing that I really rely on, and you should as well. We all know about it, but listen, act upon it, and you don't have to know what the consequences is going to be. That's up to the Lord. So now I've been in this accident, and I remember coming in and out of consciousness. But the first thing that I really, really remembered was that I shouted out, I don't know if it was audible or just in my head, to the Lord and said, "Lord, heal me," because I knew I was in bad shape. And as I went into and out of consciousness, that voice, not that shout out is, "Lord, heal me." That was the first thing that I can remember I did after the accident. And the gentleman that drove into us was on site still as well. And somehow this whole thing of forgiveness, before I can move on, you have to have this forgiveness for that what has happened to you through that person. And I don't know how and why this came up as well. And somewhere I can remember that he took my hand and asked for forgiveness, and I gave it to him. And again, then I drove into this unconscious state. But that also was pressed upon my heart from God as I shouted that "Lord, will you heal me? Please heal me." And then from there on, they called the ambulance and called my wife, and I was taken up to Krugersdorp Hospital. And this is Leona and the kids first that they were told that, but the bottom line is I'll be paralyzed from the neck down. And that's when the gravity of the situation, the gravity of the accident really kicked into the family as well, and how they were confronted with that. And Leona, when the doctor told Leona what has happened and what we will be dealing with, she then concurred with me and said, "I will not accept this. The Lord will heal him, and this is what will happen through this whole incident." So this dream, this passion, this conviction to be healed was the first thing that both Leon and I resolved although we didn't do it together, she and Owen and me at the hospital, and they did all the scans or whatever they did with me. The only thing that I broke was my neck. There was no other limbs or nothing else was broken. It was just, they call it C7, which is up here. The doctor told Leona and my business partner at the time and said, listen, we'll have to do the fusion of the neck, but his fear is that he's going to, if I can just shrug my shoulders, that would possibly be the only thing that will let's call it work or be functional. I would really be paralyzed from the neck down. And so as they rolled me into the theater for the operation, this was what I was told afterwards, is that I was praying in tongues. So, and it was audible and loud, and and the doctors did their operation, and I got in and out of there, and I was put into ICU. And as I woke up, the first thing that I could do, I was able to move my arms. So I had functional arms. My hands were very weak. I couldn't just take a sponge even and just squeeze the sponge. It was very weak, but at least I could move my arms, and I could really just hold something with the hands. So the hands and the fingers were quite functional. That was the first miracle, obviously, that God gave us, is that at least I have my arms, have my hands, and that was a good start from the day forward. Maybe I must just give some detail as to what happens when you have a spinal cord injury. So you get the quad and you get the paralegals. Not paralegals, the quadriplegic and the paraplegic. The quad is when you don't have use of any of your limbs, and the para is just from the waist down. What I didn't realize at the time, and found out obviously when you wake up, is that you also lose so many functions: bladder, bowel, everything goes. And I also remembered that when I tried to sing, there was no voice. Your whole diaphragm goes, and you can speak, but you don't have enough power in the lungs just to sing a full sentence, or laugh. That you try to laugh, but nothing happens because you just don't have any muscle that can contract whatever it is that makes you laugh. So those were my two goals: is to actually sing again and have a good laugh as life goes by. But that to me came back later. But this dream, this whole conviction that God will heal me stayed with Leona and I throughout this whole process. So as I went into ICU, I was there for 3 days, which is unheard of for injuries like mine, and they pushed me out of ICU into a normal ward. And 10 days later, I was transferred to the rehabilitation hospital in Auckland Park of Netcare. And just to reflect on having this dream, having this passion, having this conviction that this is what you strive for, this is what you ask of God, and to follow it, that dream, to follow that conviction, and to not to be deterred from it, is something I would encourage everybody to pursue, to have a dream, to have this conviction. This is my purpose, or this is what I feel God is calling me, or I'm asking something from God, and to hold on to it, even after 7 years, and the slow progression is there's all these attacks and say, listen, but you tell everybody you will walk again, but nothing seems to change. Nothing seems that you really are progressing and that God's doing anything in your life. We see you every day, but just a wheelchair. And this is where the attacks come from, and you really gotta bow down and say, God, let me not forget who you are. Let me not forget that your time is not my time. Let me not forget that the promise is the promise, and I need to stand on it no matter what. And when I was moved to the rehab in Auckland Park, a gentleman that I didn't know came to visit me. His name was Ari, and we sat down, and he said, listen, he gave me a prophetic word. He said, listen, you will walk again, but it's going to take some time. It's going to be a process. And in my heart, it resonated that this is the truth. It came from somebody that I didn't know, and I really clinged on to it and made it my own as well. Now, in this rehab center, there are a whole hospital of people. There's doctors, there's nurses, there's physiotherapists, there is occupational therapists, and this whole hospital's pure responsibility and focus is to put you through a rehabilitation program that will enable you to do and function as much as you could with what you've got at the time. So suddenly I find myself that I now need to learn what I call a new normal, because suddenly what comes naturally, walking, dressing, going to the bathroom, none of this applies in the way that I was used to. I needed to relearn, being rehabilitated to actually function, how to get dressed, how to get in and out of a car, how to deal with life from a wheelchair's point of view. And so the process started. And what this hospital, the process in the hospital is that you get assigned a doctor, you get assigned a physiotherapist, you get assigned an occupational therapist, and they all work together with you with a specific plan and goals set out by them for you with the family. And through the weeks and the months in rehab, they will focus on helping you to reclaim your life with what you've got at the time, how to get dressed, how to work your fingers, how to sit up or how to stand, how to get transferred into a car, how to function in a role in a wheelchair. And these people are so dedicated, and they all work on different levels with different views or different angles, but all with one goal, to give you the best chance to find a way to deal with what your new normal is at that moment, and together with the family and together with the doctors and the nurses. So apart from the dream that you have to cling on, is that you have to have these people around you that help you recover, that help you to work towards that dream. And you've got to surround yourself with the right kind of people. In rehab, these were the doctors and the nurses and the physiotherapists. They were the right kind of people for that first 3 months of life, to learn how to deal with a spinal cord condition and find your way back into society. And these ladies, there's no male, there wasn't any male physiotherapists. They were lady physiotherapists. They are absolutely amazing people. I think they've got a special place in God's heart, because they work in your space. They never accept your your condition as something that can't be overcome. They push you to the limits each and every day, and they make sure that they get the best out of you. They never let you down. They never let up as to what sometimes I would try and say, listen, I just can't. It's not acceptable to them. They push you to your limit, to your maximum, always asking a little more so that you can really, really, at the end of the day, show that you've done your best, and they will not accept anything less. And this is what we need in life as well. You need that people that can see the potential, that can give you that encouragement and make sure that you don't give up, and make sure that you have that follow through and keep on keeping on until you can do that transfer from the bed into a wheelchair, or until you can do a bit of crawling on your own, or until such time you can actually now help yourself to put on a shirt or put on a pants or whatever it is that they focus on. So the right people around you is also the important thing. And you got to surround yourself with the right people and find that can help you on your way forward, because there's also the wrong kind of people. Not everybody saw the potential. Not everybody were able to identify and say, listen, there is a dream, there is something to pursue in it, and we need to encourage each other to really, really live our dreams. Because you'll find someone will walk up to you and say, have you making peace with the fact that you're now a quadriplegic? Then how do you answer that? It's not a matter of peace, because my dream is different. I might be in a wheelchair at the moment, but this is not who I am. I'm moving forward because I believe God will heal me. And at His time, but I'll do what I can for the moment to really strengthen whatever muscles I have, and also to get independent as much as possible. If you look at the 7 years from where I started to where I am now, is that in small increments you'll find that suddenly something is there that wasn't. Those small little victories which is for the naked eye is not to be seen, but I can feel it, I can see it, to the point that I can drive, I can put my own wheelchair in and out of the car. I don't need a carer. I used to have a carer called Juliet. It's a lady that looked after me and helped me in the beginning stages of the rehab treatment at home. And what a wonderful relationship Juliet and I have had. She knew me intimately. She was the nanny, because I needed to be treated like a baby, and she helped me to get dressed when I wasn't able to do it yet, and took the pressure off Leona, my wife, to have to stand into that shoes, to become a carer, to become a nanny, because that's not a good thing for relationships between husband and wives, that she steps into that shoes. And Juliet did it in such a way that you never felt that you're uncomfortable, or you felt that there's a bit of a degrading feeling that now you have to deal with all this. You need somebody to dress you or wash you, or whatever the case may be. She just did it in such a wonderful way. And again, the right people stepped into the right place at the right time to help you. And she's still with me, although I don't need her anymore. It's just always nice to know Juliet is around somewhere, because I can always press on a button and she knows exactly what to do, and she does it in such a non-intrusive way. It's just comes naturally from her side. So again, the right people in my environment. And then if you look at the family, the moment I've gotten out of the hospital, 3 or 4 months later, now I need to move into the real world again. And my 2 sons and my wife now we need to adapt to this new life that we've had, or new normal as we call it, that I've had. The whole house that needed to be adapted, because you're in the wheelchair. There's no stairs, not allowed, but obviously you got to adapt a house with lifts if there's stairs, or ramps wherever you go, and be on the lookout how and what obstacles is in the house or at the workplace or wherever you go. So you look out for the different environment, and you learn to adapt and then move and have your being in this house. But Leona, my wife, again, what a wonderful woman. She was dealt suddenly with a card where she needs to step into the shoes as a mother and a father, or a single mother almost, and had to stand in the gap, not just for me but for the boys as well, and get everybody to really come together again, and how will we as a family deal with this new situation. And just God gave her the power and the presence of mind and the calmness to deal with it. I wouldn't say smoothly. It's only months afterwards that Leon and I had this conversation, and you realize the impact. She just absorbed it and put herself second, third, and fourth, and said, "Listen, this is my turn to step up and make sure we get through this." And with the boys, with me, it's her side of the story is always wonderful to hear and realize the power of a lady with strengths that we didn't know she had, but also again just came from God. It's the right person for the job at the time, and He gave her whatever she needed to cope with a new not with a new husband, but with a husband that is in a wheelchair. And again, family, the right family. My boys, suddenly they were in standard 6 and standard 8. Had to carry me around, pick me up sometimes, deal with adult stuff that kids are not supposed to be dealing with. But again, God was powerful, and He lifted them up, and they just stepped into that role so beautifully. And if you ask them how did they experience, they said, yeah, it was a traumatic experience, but again, because of Mom, she told them what to expect. She trained them or coached them as to when I get home, what will happen. And by the time I got home, they were. It seems like they just naturally stepped into those shoes. Again, God putting the right people, and equipping them to deal with this traumatic event. And then, but again, also the wrong people. I always say there's three types of people that I learned about when I came out of hospital. There's the one that accept you for who you are and speak to you as per normal. You're just in a wheelchair, but you're the same Roy. And then you get those that just ignore you because they just can't deal with this environment, and they stay away, and suddenly they're not there anymore. And then you get those people that will talk over you. So they will come and say, they'll ask Liana, "Wat wil hy drink?" She says, "Well, ask him. Hy's lam, hy's nie mal nie." Because they somehow, if you got a disability, there's always this thing, your mind is gone as well. But again, it's my job to not train, but speak to them and make them comfortable, because not everybody know how to deal with a new normal. They get introduced to a new set of rules or facts, and some can and some just can't deal with it. And going forward, and if I look at the 7 years again, the people that has come and gone, God took me through not just from rehab to home, back to work. But in that work environment, while I was still recovering, it came to be that my partner at the time of 20 years, we just, at a stage, we had to look each other in the eye and says, listen, we're not seeing eye to eye. We're not comfortable with each other at that moment. So we decided to go our separate ways. So part of my recovery was also then to start a new business 4 years ago, and I had to deal with that and just the amazing blessings that we received by starting a new business. Yeah? And you only get dealt the wheelchair card for 1 or 2 or 3 times. They'll say, listen, I'll give you a go. After that, it's equal. The playing fields are equal. Either you deliver a service that's equal to everybody else, or my business will go elsewhere. So I needed to find ways to be as effective and as capable as the market out there, and find new ways how to deal with business, despite the fact that I don't have all the abilities that a normal person had at the moment. So I had to think differently, I had to act differently, and make sure that my new normal, my new environment is as good as the competitors out there, because we are competitors. And the fact that I'm in a wheelchair, as I said, will take you so far. And and that's not an excuse, because brain-wise, there's nothing wrong with me. I can compete. I can deliver a service. And so far we did. And as I said, the blessing that comes with the new normal was tremendous. So again, the dream in so many ways that God will look after me, will guide me through the Spirit voice that will raise me up every now and again, just not to be discouraged with the process, because there are days. Well, every morning you wake up, and the first thing that I normally do these days is just want to check, don't these legs move already? So I wake up with this expectation, let's just check, is today the day or not? And always to wake up with that expectation. But other days, and I've mentioned it before, then you're not as chirpy, because why hasn't it happened? Is this as good as it gets? So the doubt is there, the questions are there, and as I've mentioned also before, is that then Arias told me, every now and again you can have a day off, and you can take the day and we call it the pity party. Not indulge, but allow yourself and say, but I don't feel good today, but I'll get over it. Tomorrow when I wake up, don't be negative anymore. Just get up and do what you have to do every day. And as I've said before, little increments, my relationships with my family, with my partners, with my church is growing, and the people around me lifts me and carries me and prays me through each of these days, and I believe the season of 7 years has come and gone. This is a new season for me, and I can feel it in my body. And one day you wake up and suddenly, and for most of you, your bodeknijp, well, it came back. So I'm sitting, every now and again, I have to pinch myself. There's something there. And it took 7 years, and it's still small, but it's there. It's coming back, the functionality in the legs, with all the locomats and all the rehab that I'm still doing. It can move, and everything is getting, so all I need at the moment is just the strength to actually stand on my own legs, but because the functionality is back. And as I said, the bodeknijp is al daar, at least. And that's awesome. And I can, and even these days, I can sneeze. It still sounds like a little woman's chichi, but it's there. It's the small victories and the momentum that's building and building and building, and I'm looking forward to this new season of mine, and I believe that the chapter is behind me, and the initial phase has been done and dusted, and the next phase is here to be had and to be embraced and to live it and to really rise to the occasion that God are leading us to go through. And that's a bit of the story from my side. And to conclude is, guys, listen to the Spirit voice. Dream the dream and make sure that the right people is around you. And without them, you can go only so far. We all need relationships. We all need people to help us, and God will provide enough of them to take you through your seasons and to encourage you to become your best self, so that you can fulfill your purpose that He's put you here to do what He wants you to do. And when you're discouraged, just allow God to restore you. Just allow a friend to pray for you, and just pick up the baton again and move on to the next phase of life. Thank you so much. Wow.